As many of you know, I competed in Pokemon Go at the Pokemon World Championships in Anaheim, California. What you may not know is the same weekend I competed in the Pokemon TCG Pocket World Championships as well. And so today we're going to be going through how the tournament went. We're going to go through all of my sort of battles. I don't know if battles is really the term. I guess it literally says battle on the screen. So we're going to be going through all of my recordings and how the tournament actually sort of played out. Now, important disclaimer, it's not really the World Championships. This is sort of just, it was the biggest in-person tournament they've ever held for TCG Pocket at the World Championships, and so it sort of felt like it was the World Championships. So, you know, a little bit of clickbait, but we've still got all of the battles. And so essentially, how this format works is you bring 2 decks of 20 cards, and if you don't know how TCG Pocket works, I mean, you'll sort of see how it goes as the video goes on, but you bring 2 decks of 20 cards, and they can't have the same Pokemon in them. So you have to have sort of 2 unique decks, and you have to win with both of them against each opponent. So essentially, it's a best of 3 format, where you and your first opponent play, you each bring 2 decks, and as soon as you get a win with your first deck, you can't use that deck anymore, and you have to try and get a win with your second deck. And so it's just a best of 3. You have to win with both before they win with both. Pretty simple concept. And so the decks that I was running in this tournament were not good, because here's another important disclaimer. I have still never played a ranked battle of TCG Pocket in my life. So this was definitely jumping in the deep end at the, sort of World Championships. And so first of all, I was running this sort of off the shelf, pretty bad deck, to be honest with you, with this Arceus EX. This guy does, once it gets 3 energy attached, you can do 70 damage plus 20 for each of your benched Pokemon. So it's a pretty decent Pokemon. You have to build some time to get it set up, though. And it's sort of supported by this Crobat EX, because whenever Arceus is on the field, Crobat is able to just instantly do 30 damage to your opponent's active Pokemon every turn. Just click the button, they do 30 damage. So it's actually pretty handy. And I also had Toxicroak on the deck, where it doesn't do any damage, but you can sort of... What does it say? It's not poison. It's just super poison, really, because poison does 10 damage, but this is like toxic poison. And so it does 20 damage per turn if they don't swap out. That's a big if, as it turns out, going to this tournament. So I would not recommend this deck at all, and you will see why. There's also Rotom here, that if Arceus is on the field, it has a free retreat cost. So yeah, not a very great deck, but I did have a good deck up my sleeve. Shout out to Pogo Ash, because I was doing a Pocket stream at some point some time ago, and she sort of suggested that Silvally Rampardos is actually God tier. And this is a few sets out of date, so that wasn't necessarily the God tier deck going to this tournament. You'll see what the God tier deck in this World Championships was, but basically... This guy does 50 damage if just regular, if you got 2 energy, but if you played a supporter that turn, it does a full 100 damage. So that's pretty sick, and it's also just a 1 prize card, so not too bad. And then Rampardos does 130 damage for 1 energy, which is kind of crazy, and then it just does 50 damage to itself if you knock out the opponent's Pokemon. Again, only a 1 prize Pokemon, so it's actually pretty decent. And they're literally all of the Pokemon in this deck, so you're guaranteed to get a type null sort of at the start of the game, because the Skull Fossils that evolve into Rampardos, you don't get that as the basic Pokemon to start off with. So you're literally like starting off fresh. And these are the rest of the cards that are in there as well. I don't know if I scroll down on the other guy, but again, it's not decks worth copying, and they are well out of the format at this point. So I guess let's jump into the tournament and talk about how it went. I guess I should probably mention as well, it's an 8-round Swiss tournament. No, and there is Top Cut as well. Let's just, spoilers, I did not make it to Top Cut. But it was kind of crazy long. So they announced it at the very start, like, okay, it's going to be 8 rounds, 45 minutes per round. And so, you do the quick maths, and it's like, oh, wait, that's like a lot of the day. That's like, 6 hours or something like that? And so I was already sitting there like, okay, I'm not going to get through this whole tournament. We'll see. But it went a lot worse, to say the least. The time really stretched out, and we'll talk about that as the tournament goes on. Let's jump into the matches, though. So you can see my decks in the bottom right-hand corner. Again, that Arceus Crobat line, and then the Silvally Rampardos. And my first opponent was Nicolas Del Campo from Chile, and he was a really nice guy. He gave me this little, I don't know how to describe it. I guess a trinket. He sort of gave me this gift from Chile. I would love to show it to you, but it is currently in my luggage that is a month later still being Qantas doesn't know where it is. So cool, I guess. But it was really nice, and he was a really nice guy. Also really good at the game, as it turns out. So he's running this Darkrai Giratina deck that was by far the #1 deck in the format. Everyone was running it. It was absolutely everywhere. If I knew what the meta was looking like, I would have just copied it, because it is so good. And you'll sort of see it run here in a little bit. He's also running this Espeon EX, Sylveon EX, EX, EVEX type of deck, and we'll just sort of see how it goes. If you're looking for a hardcore analysis of TCG Pocket games, this is not the video for you because I do not know. So it's a bit more casual. I've super sped it up because there's a lot of times when I sit there for a long time trying to figure out what to do. Start off with a Croagunk into Eevee, and look, this is one of the main reasons why this deck was so bad for me this tournament, is Croagunk and Toxicroak by extension just do nothing. Because see, I've put Toxic on him, so it should do 20 damage, but as soon as he evolves, it goes away, and sort of the effect of Toxic disappears, and, you know, we're back to square one. And so next turn, I'm going to be able to use Toxic again, but as soon as he swaps out, it's gone again. And so I've only done 20 damage for this fully evolved Pokemon. So it was pretty useless, unfortunately. You know, and there wasn't a lot I could do. Arceus is sitting there on the bench, sort of just hoping that I can eventually get up to 3 energy, but he's already carried one of my Pokemon. Arceus is here. I can't attack this turn. I have another Arceus on the bench. I would love to have some Crobat action being set up here, but it's just not happening. And you'll see me reading every card because I don't know what any of the cards do. I still don't know what the cards do. And so finally I get one attack off, but because I don't have my other basic Pokemon at all, I only have 2 Arceus, I just don't get to do enough damage, and he takes an easy game 1 win. So game 2, we're going to actually go in with the exact same deck, figure, hey, let's just make it work. And so the way that Darkrai Giratina works is that they are just sort of sitting there, stalling out time. Every time you attach an energy to Darkrai, it does 20 damage to your active, and then Giratina, just once it gets its energy sorted, it actually cooks. And actually, I'm going to go back here because this was insane. So I actually thought I was in a pretty decent spot. I've got a Zubat, I've got a Crobat sitting on the bench, and a Rare Candy as well. So once we get to turn 2, I'm going to be able to evolve my Crobat, you know, get this game moving, do some active damage to my Pokemon, to my opponents. No one really knew what Crobat did, by the way. It's clearly never been meta. And I've got my Croagunk here ready to go. I'm going to put Toxic on. I'll be able to Toxic my opponents while just doing chip damage along the way. But then he uses Red Card, which puts my hand back into my deck. And all of a sudden, I'm standing here with nothing of any use. I'm sitting here with a Zubat out the front. While again, the entire point of this Darkrai Giratina deck is you just stall out time while you sort of build up. You ramp up. And then once you're good to go, you're just going full speed. And I'm sitting here with absolutely nothing. There's another Zubat here. Still no ability to evolve it. I've got a 2 Crobat in my hand, and there's just nothing I can do. And so he takes a super easy game to win, and that is the first round of the tournament. And I think he ended up going 5-3 as well. So definitely ended up doing it pretty well in that tournament, and I was definitely feeling like, yeah, no, this is deserved. Again, I don't know how to play this game. Now, round number 2 isn't the one you're actually seeing. Round 2 was this. And so, yeah, it was a no-show. So we took an easy win. Let's go. 1-1 in the tournament. And so then my round 3 opponent was actually after round 2. I was sort of working. Obviously, I was pretty bored. I had to wait a full hour for this round to sort of finish up, and I didn't play a single game. And so I was just running around, and then I ran into Primetime Wizard, who was playing in this tournament as well. There are a lot of really cool people playing in this tournament, by the way. People that you see all on Twitter and casting and whatever else. And so we get to chatting before round 3, and he's like, yeah, look, my family's here, they're off, I might just drop out of this tournament, go hang with them. And I'm like, fair enough. And I don't really know how it happened, but he was sort of like, yeah, man, like, if we match up, I'll just drop, go, easy dubs. And I went, hey, sounds good to me. Lo and behold, round 3 pairings drop. We're matched up against each other. And, I'm sort of telling him, like, you don't need to drop. Like, you should I think you could play this one out. It should be a pretty easy win. I clearly don't know what I'm doing. You saw how my only match actually went. It should be a pretty big slam dunk. You'll see how this goes. So he's got a Darkrai Giratina deck, and then a Ho-Oh EX Lugia EX deck as well. So we'll jump on in. Cool to play someone that I sort of knew-ish. I don't know if we've ever spoken. Actually, no, we have. Of course we have. Back at Worlds last year. But, we don't have like a super strong relationship, but still. We've got the Croagunk in here again. Not going to be doing too much, but we have a Zubat on the bench, an Arceus on the bench. This is a pretty good start. Straight away, now we actually get to get some stuff moving. We Rare Candy up our Crobat, swap it into the active, which does 50 damage. We're able to do that 30 damage every single turn. I think the Ho-Oh can't do any damage until he gets up to a few more energy. And so, all of a sudden, I'm going to get a KO here. I'm not going to quite get a KO on this Ho-Oh. I've got Arceus powering things up. Crobat's going to get the cheeky KO. They have to swap in another Pokemon, and because I use my ability to get the KO, I can now do another 50 damage with the Crobat, and this is just going literally as perfect as it possibly could. He's sitting there with, like, no energy as well. Like, he's got a Ho-Oh with energy. He can do one attack. I still survive it. I swap his Lugia back in, able to do that 30 damage, do a swap into Arceus, 110 damage, and yeah, it was like, I just got insanely lucky. The game played out exactly as I wanted it to, I guess, and that's sort of like the only way that this Arceus deck was working for me. If everything went right, it was awesome. So look, we take game 1, and I'm like, look, he should still be able to take this out. It should be fine. Had a little bit of a recording fluke, but yeah, look, going into game 2, I figured that first game was a fluke. He should still have this pretty solidly. So we start off with our type nulls. I have no idea what Kamala does. I don't even, like, we do have deck lists, so I can see that this is part of that same Lugia Ho-Oh deck. And so I'm like, well, he's just going to be powering up that Lugia slowly in the back. So let's see what we can do. We've got our Skullfustle on the field. We have 2 rare candies as well. So as soon as we get a Rampardos in our hand, we can get a Rampardos up and going and doing massive damage there as well. And so yeah, we evolve our first Silvally. As long as we play a supporter this turn, it does 100 damage. So we just play Iono so that we get our rare candy back in our hands. I realized that he was actually he was actually getting stuck there, and so that Iono was sort of giving him a bit of a saving grace, because he was really just stuck, not able to do a single thing, to be honest with you. So I really tried to help him out best I could. Again, I was really trying to throw this game, and so I get a second KO. As soon as I KO one more Pokemon, I've won this game. I'm sitting here with the Silvally ready to go, another Silvally on my bench, Cranidos that is sort of soon going to become a Rampardos as well. We've got both guys energied up. I've done 100 damage onto this Ho-Oh, literally any amount of damage onto that guy, and it'd be all good, ready to go. But he swapped in a healthy guy. He's got a KO, so maybe he can come back from this. But I get Cyrus. I can swap in that Pokemon that's damaged from the back, do 100 damage, and I take game 2. And it's like, I go 2-0, but like I just got lucky. Like the cards just went exactly as I wanted them to. Like it's just the perfect path. He got really stuck in that second game. Even after I Iono'd, trying to sort of, I wasn't actually trying to help him out, but accidentally, like I goofed and helped him out. Like he still didn't save him. And so like, yeah, again, I just got lucky. So I felt bad, because I really, like, before we played, I really made a big deal about, like, like this should be so easy for you. Like, you got this, bro. I swear I'm not good. But yeah, apparently I was just smurfing. So apologies. I swear I'm not that type of guy. I'm not going out there saying like, oh no, I'm no good, and then just crushing. That's not me, as you'll see with the rest of this tournament. So it was still a good time. Next opponent was Daniel, and he was also a really nice guy, because the internet in the venue is pretty, or the connectivity in the venue is pretty rubbish, and my internet just was not working. I could not get into the app, and I was sitting there like, if I can't get into the app, I know that this guy wins. And so I sort of asked, I was like, do you mind if you like your internet seems to be working, do you mind hotspotting me? And he was like, yeah, of course. And like, he hotspotted me. It's how I got into the game, and just really, really do appreciate it. It was just very kind. And this is probably like, I think the Pokemon Go community in general has a reputation for being a little bit kinder than the other Pokemon communities. The Pocket tournament was like a level above, 3 levels above. Like, everyone was just so kind. So it's actually really sweet. But he had one deck that was this Buzzwole. What's that? I can't read the text. What's the name of that bug beetle thinger? I'll probably remember it later. We'll see it when it comes onto the screen, I suppose, with the little kick thingies. The Ultra Beast deck. And then he's running that Eevee, Sylveon EX, Espeon EX deck as well. So game number 1, we started off with an Arceus in the lead, which isn't really what you want, because he can't do anything until you get 3 energy. I think it's a 2 retreat cost as well, so even if you use an X speed to get out of there, you still have to burn 1 energy to escape anyway. So it's really like the worst possible start you can have with this deck, and one of the many reasons why this deck isn't that great. And so I sort of retreat, throw Croagunk in there, expecting them to get a KO, yeah, look, it's not looking good for me. They're getting their Espeon set up. They're getting their Sylveon set up. They've already carried my Arceus. They get 2. I get a Crobat onto the field, but its ability only works if you have the Arceus on the field. And so I'm just a sitting duck here. He's going to take me out pretty easy. And that's game 1. Game, set, match. So I'm going to try the other deck out, the Silvally deck, which I should have been using as my first deck a long time ago, because it is clearly the superior deck. Pheromosa! That's the name of the Pokemon. So I really don't know how this deck... I think the thing about this deck is that you can sort of swap out once a turn. Like, you can sort of just jump on into the front. And so I get my evolution up. I've got a Type Null on the back. I've got a Fussil on the back. So if I get a rare candy, I can get a Rampardos. I'm looking not too bad. They do get a 50 energy heal to just nullify my thing. I get the Rampardos onto the field, and I'm like, look, I could get a cheeky KO here. So I think I'm doing some calculations, and I'm like, yep, let's bring it in. So we swap out from Sil Valley, bring in the Rampardos, do 130 to get one prize card. And he's got a lot of health on that other side. And so I'm kind of like, look, this is a little bit scary. He bosses, I call it boss's orders because I'm used to like the actual TCG. And so now we're doing some quick calcs. I'm like, wait, I can get another 130 damage onto this guy. I can guaranteed get a KO into this next turn because I have Cyrus. He's going to swap out and leave it in the back, but I can Cyrus it back in, bring it back out, get the KO on this guy, and actually, I think he maybe conceded there because that went very quick. I know that I've got this footage sped up by like 5 times, but it seemed to go very fast. So anyway, we take the win with the Sil Valley deck, but unfortunately that means that we have to go back and try and get a win with the Arceus deck, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. Again, we're starting off with the Arceus lead, which is just so atrociously bad. I cannot express how much I dislike this deck after having to actually play real people with it. It is just so not good, but it is what it is. If you got rid of the Toxicroak Krogunk line, it would be a little bit more consistent, maybe some ability to retreat instead, because as is, it's just monstrous. So we've got a Toxicroak in there doing toxic damage. Their attack does 20 damage to sort of 2 Pokemon on the field. So Arceus is even getting weaker as time goes on. And because this particular deck is like able to constantly swap in and out and in and out, Toxic is useless. I'm doing 20 damage as my attack per turn. I finally get a Zubat onto the field, and we can't get to a Crobat for another turn at least. And so I'm really trying to figure out what to do. Toxic, it's getting lower and lower and lower, but they just keep Ultra Thrustering these guys. They red card me to get rid of my cards. I have Crobats in my hand at least, and so maybe if I get a rare candy, we can maybe make something happen. I mean, I haven't got any KOs yet, but like Arceus is looking really low. Toxicroak is looking really low. And we get one prize card. But look, it's definitely looking a little bit dire. Buzzwole is able to do a chunk of damage here, get the KO, bring him up to 2 prize cards. And now, as soon as he gets 50 damage onto this guy, like it's so Jova. We can, yeah, I think I just concede at that point. Because it's just like, yeah, look, it is what it is. So we take the loss there. And I think I do actually have my opponent's records listed as well. Prime Time ended up going 2-4 and then dropping after round 6. Daniel ended up going 5-3 as well. So 2 of my opponents were 5-3s, so pretty scary stuff. Now on to round number 5 of the tournament. At this point, I do have all of the times listed down as well. So like I think the tournament started at 10 a.m. Round 4 was scheduled to end at 2:10. It actually finished at like 2:20. So we're already, over 4 hours into this tournament, and we're only sort of 4 rounds in. So it's a very, very long tournament. Basically, I'd play my match. It'd take like, as you can see, these matches are going pretty quick. They didn't take too long for them to beat me. And so then I would go back to the go area, just hang out, chill with people for like 45 minutes until my next opponent was generated, and then I'd go back to the pocket area. So it was a little interesting, to say the least. Now, round number 5, I have switched it over. So they're running a Darkrai Giratina, because, again, it is God tier. And then they've got an Arceus deck as well. And I've put Arceus Oricorio. This is a guy named Colin. I'm trying to re-pull up. I have screenshots. I took photos of everyone's deck lists. That's sort of the main reason why I sort of know what they actually ran. But to be honest with you, I was sort of struggling to decide what this deck was, because it's got like Zeraora and I can't even read this Pokemon. Pichu? Oh, it's a Pichu. It's Pichu. And then Oricorio, RCCX. So I don't really know what it does. And maybe we'll remember together as this game actually goes on. Because I am definitely pretty clueless. So we're going to start off with the Sil Valley deck. Again, we finally figured out that it's good. And we're up against that Darkrai deck to start. And so I'm like, okay, well, I don't think this is the greatest starting hand. We can't really evolve yet. We can at least do a bit of damage. We can chip this guy down to 100, which does mean that it's now in range of the Sil Valley's attack, which is sort of nice. So it's not the end of the world. We are losing health pretty quick though, and then they potion up, so all of a sudden they are no longer in that range. So I'm like, okay, that's not ideal, but we can get a Fossil onto the field. We still don't have a Sil Valley, and so I'm like, did I just not even attack? Did I just end my turn without attacking? I feel like that's what just happened. But, wait, because I had a Rocky Helmet, so I didn't want to attack. Oh, yeah, it do be like that. So we get a Rampardos up and running at least, and so I'm kind of like, well, 130 damage. We do have enough to KO it, but let's just, I don't know why I'm sitting on it, because I could just get that KO, really. Because I could have put that one energy onto Rampardos. I guess I'm letting them, I don't know what my plan is here, to be honest with you. I feel like maybe I'm missing something in current day, but it feels like I should have just got that KO at the very least. But it is what it is. I mean, Darkrai's just going to take us out. They got 2 prize cards. Rampardos comes in. They've got a brand new healthy Darkrai in the lead this time, so now I can't even get the KO. I can at least Cyrus the other guy back up. And I think I'm trying to figure out what the win con is. And I'm like, okay, if I Team Rocket's Academy, that sort of flips coins, and however many heads you get, you remove an energy from your active Pokemon, from the opponent's active Pokemon. And so it's like, right, if I can get rid of all of this energy, then swap that other Darkrai in, get the KO, then maybe we have a chance here. But instead, I'm just sitting here going like, yeah, no, this is not it. I'm trying to find a win con. I concede. It is what it is. But that was game number 1. So going to game number 2, I've got a Zubat in the lead with an Arceus in the back, which is sort of like the best possible scenario, I think, for this deck. And he's running this Arceus Oricorio deck as well. Again, no clue what this deck is doing. The only advantage I have at all is that none of my opponents seem to know what Crobat did. And so they red card us into a Crobat with a rare candy. So I'm like, hey, this isn't that bad. As long as I can survive this turn, which I probably can. Because look, Arceus isn't made to do big damage. This early in the game, you need to get the energy up and running. So they get out of there, they get Pikachu in here, I can rare candy up my Crobat, I can literally do 30 damage to get a free KO against that Pichu in the lead, like just with my ability, and then I still get to attack. So this is actually looking pretty nice to me. Get a 50 damage onto the Arceus. Does get to that 3 energy now, can do a clean 110 damage as well. In retrospect, like, maybe I should have dipped out and kept Crobat alive, seeing as that 30 damage engine is sort of so important for me. A little bit of internet issue there that I was like, oh, don't tell me this game's over. But yeah, so I think I played this a little bit poorly. Like, I could have just sacked something, I suppose. Gets another KO on the Toxicroak. I bring my own Arceus. I at least get 2 Pokemon on the field, but I don't have 3 energy yet. So I just ended up sacking in the Zubat, and that is GG's on round number 5. And so he ended up going 5-3 as well. So 3 of my opponents have all gone 5-3 here, which then brought us on to round 6 of the tournament. Yeah, no, it was another no-show. So that's 3 wins, baby. I'm officially going into round 7 with like a 3-3 record, technically. So let's go. I think I'm actually the GOAT in this. I didn't even mention, this is an 176 player tournament as well. So kind of a crazy big field. Definitely should have mentioned that earlier, but alas, I did not. So we go into round number 7 up against Jean Vasquez, who is running these cards. He's got a Silvally deck, which, you know, I sort of know how that works. And then he's got this like Rapidash deck that is just taken off the shelf. It's a really bad deck. It is like one of the most basic decks you could ever have. It doesn't really do anything special. And so I'm sitting here going like, all right, I'm going to go positive in this tournament. Surely we can make this happen. But I need to get past this Silvally deck. And I think he was saying sort of he had one deck that he plays, and then like he didn't have a second deck, and so we kind of just shoved one in, which is kind of what I did with the Crobat Arceus one, to be fair. So I actually so real for that, King. It was, again, super lovely guy. They were all so lovely. And he was in a similar boat where, because he's also 3-3. I think he's 2-3 at this point. Or 2-4, and I got the down pair, and his 2 wins were also no-shows. So I'm like, yeah, we're in the same boat, man. And so he was like, okay, I'm just, like, he was saying, I really just want to try and get my first win. Like, that's what I'm going for. I'm going for a win. So I'm like, righto. So we start off with Zubat, Croagunk in the back, Arceus in the back. This is a great start for me. We've got a Crobat in our hand as well. If we can get a rare candy, this is already looking pretty good for us. I have no idea what Zero Aura does, so it's new to me. And it's like, oh, it's an energy generation engine. I see. So we're sitting here for a long time trying to figure out what to do. I don't know if there's that. I guess we're just looking, maybe we sack the Crobat. Sack the Croagunk. So many Crow Pokemon, I'm realizing. Meanwhile, Murkrow is like crushing them in the Go Seed. So he's getting set up. He gets a quick KO, and I'm all of a sudden like, right, I'm still not getting any ability to get my Crobat up and running. So I guess we'll just attach energy to Arceus and sacrifice another Pokemon to him. Please give me an ability. Where can we finally get a Crobat onto the field? I get to do 30 damage there. Arceus isn't at 3 energy yet, so he just has to hang on for another turn to be able to do anything. I need to get 3 prize cards, and again, one of the massive benefits of Silvally is it is only 1 prize card. So it's not very good for me, to say the least. He's also now got a Rocky helmet, so even with the KO, I'm not going to be doing a whole lot. Arceus is now down to 40 health. Rocky helmet's going to bring me even lower. I can see the game. It's GG's. So we go into game number 2. I run Silvally again, and here is the Ponyta ready to go. And I just can't express enough that like these guys just can't do it. They're doing nothing special. They're doing tiny amounts of damage, and you know aren't that strong either. Like they don't actually have that much health. And so I'm like, right, we should be good here. So I get another type null in there, give it an energy. He's got 60 health, so I can't quite get that KO. But I sort of only need to get a heads flip once, because it either does 20 damage or 40 damage, and so 20 plus 40 would work if I get heads once. But we get our Silvally in here, do 100 damage, get a KO, and again, I'm feeling pretty good at this point. Rapidash, like, its big attack only does 40 damage, and I'm like, I can survive that pretty easily. We Iono just to use a supporter, get another KO, that's up to 2 prize cards. In comes the Vulpix, and, like, you know, Vulpix can't do that much damage. It does Tail Whip, which I think it means I can't attack this turn, but that just gets counteracted by swapping out. And now it is down to this. Game 3, I have to run the Arceus deck, and he has to run that Rapidash deck. And I start off with just a Rotom. And I'm like, okay, well, he can't do a lot. Basically, his attack is, I think he does 20 damage to one of the Pokemon on the bench, and that's really it. So we use a Pokeball, we get a Zubat, we get another Zubat. So we're sort of just thinning our deck because we want to get to Crobat scenario. If we can get a Crobat, if we can put an Arceus in front and a Crobat in the back, that's just insano tier because like he just can't really do that much damage to me because his attacks aren't that great. And so I'm like, okay, no ability to get to Crobat yet. What do we do? I guess we just put some damage onto the back. I guess that's fine. Or we're just sort of sitting and waiting for either an Arceus to come out or an ability to get a Crobat. We, get red carded, down to 3 cards. Again, still no ability to get a Crobat or an Arceus onto the field. I'm like, okay, I guess we have to do 20 damage with Zubat, I guess. They're just running around. They're building up. They're, again, not that strong because this Ninetales only... it actually does get the KO, and I'm sitting here, still no ability to get Crobat. Just no ability to do anything. Arceus isn't here. He's on 20 HP, and I didn't get a single prize card, and he just crushes me, and I'm gone, and that's the end of the game, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this deck is so bad. Arceus is, I will never run this deck again. It is so atrocious, with just so much fluff filled in there, so he ends up getting the win, which, the stakes aren't high in this tournament. We're both at the lower end. There's guys that actually have a chance at top cut. We're both like, yeah, man, we got 2 no-show wins. And so we're like, yeah, we've both of us are now 3-4 in this tournament with 2 no-show wins and 1 legit win. That in some sense, luck played a pretty big role for both of us. So it's sort of like, yeah. So we were vibing. He was really nice as well. Actually, Debbie Pebble ended up coming over while we were playing in this round 7. And she was sort of looking from behind my shoulder for a second. And she was like, and then she was like, oh, I probably shouldn't be here, cheating, whatever. And he was like, no, you can stay. And she was like, no. So she went over and sat somewhere else. But he was just loveliest guy. Absolute sweetheart. And so then we go into my very final round. It is current, again, the tournament started at 10 a.m. And this round started after 5 p.m. So it's been it's literally been a 7-hour tournament so far. And we're now going into round number 8. Final round of the tournament, unless you have to play Top Cut. My gosh, if you had to play Top Cut, that is so late into the day. And so my final opponent, I've lost all of my buttons. Here we go. We're actually up against someone that I didn't realize it was her at the time. Her name's Emmy, and I've seen her on Twitter all the time. And she sort of mentioned afterwards, she's like, oh, I feel like I've seen you on Twitter. And so yeah, I think we're just sort of both in enough convergent social circles where there's a few Twitter pop-ups. It was it was cool. But she was running another Giratina Darkrai deck, and then she was running an EVEX deck, but she really, I think she really loves Flareon, and so she was like, I wanted to run Flareon somehow. And so I don't think it's again, not the most meta Pokemon, but here she is, and I think she's also 3-4. So we're both 3-4 at this point, going to the final round. So I start off with an Arceus in the lead. Again, the worst possible lead for this deck, and I'm like, right, let's try and make something happen. We at least get a Zubat onto the bench, and I have another Arceus in my hand so that maybe we can still do something. Now, I don't really understand, again, how Pocket works. I don't know what makes... I just don't know what the cards do enough to sort of know how the EV deck goes, but I understand generally that it's sort of known as the most consistent deck if you've got Sylveon and Espeon, because you can kind of just set up pretty much guaranteed every time. There's a pretty solid draw engine in there. You can get some Pokemon ready to go. And so I finally get Rotom into the front. Again, the problem with this deck, of one of its many problems, is that there's no real ability to do some proper damage. Like, Crobat is almost your best attacker because it can do 50 damage for 1 energy. But you also kind of don't want to lose him because you want to be doing that 30 damage every single turn with its ability. And so it's kind of a little bit hard to be in this spot where, you know, they're now able to get a KO on my Crobat. I'm down to 2 Arceus. Neither of them, the one in the back has 1 energy. I'm now attached 1 energy to the front guy because I know that even if I retreat, I need to spend 1 energy with the X speed anyway. So it's like, I'm kind of stuck here. I'm finally at the point where, like, you know, if I can get a 3rd energy, I can get a KO, but she gets the win. And so now she's back to that Darkrai Giratina deck that is, well, good to say the least. And so, like, I don't know why I kept starting with the Arceus deck. I think I was like trying to get it out of the way, but really, I think what the strat really should be is you run the Rampardo Silvally, you run your good deck, so you try and get the win early, so you knock them over, and then even if they sort of get to their bad deck in the back, then you have your best chance because you've got I don't know. You need to get a win with both of them anyway. And so they've got this Giratina here that is absolutely setting up. They've got so much energy here. They almost ran out of Pokemon, which almost could have been like a god tier strat. But I'm sitting on 1 Pokemon. I don't have another, so I don't know. I still don't have another basic Pokemon. I put 100 damage on, they Rocky Helmet me, and I'm like, it's GG's. They attach an energy to Darkrai, which does 20 damage. She is stuck with this Giratina in the lead instead now, and I'm like, I just need a basic Pokemon. And so I'm like, right, I need to get rid of that Giratina in the back, because if I don't, then like I'll instant die. But yeah, she attaches 20. She attaches 20, and it's over. It's so Jova. And so she gets the win. Easy 2-0, and I end up with my tournament at a 3-5 result, with 2 of those wins being no-shows. So it is what it is. I had a pretty good time. And again, like, my opponents are all just so nice. So I really do appreciate it. It was a really fun tournament. It was one of the things that I really wanted to do at the World Championships. I was like, I really want to do Play Lab, which we didn't get to do. And I want to play in the Pocket tournament. So I wanted to play in the Pocket tournament back at NAIC. And so, look, there's definitely some growing pains. Like it wasn't any of the staff's fault, but there were some, definitely a lot of issues, a lack of communication among staff. Like, different people were sort of telling players different things just because, yeah, it was brand new and no one really knew how it was going to go. But I don't actually know who won. I think that Ursaday might have some stuff on her Twitter, so maybe it's worth seeking out. Maybe I should have sorted out beforehand. But all this to say, in this I do have the result. So in this 176 players, I found myself on the sheet. I came 104th. So I didn't quite crack top 100. That's what I was hoping for. I was aiming for top 100. Unfortunately, we were just a few points aside behind on that one, which it is just like, it was resistance, just pretty much. So, you know, my opponents, probably the fact that like I had no-show opponents didn't really help my tiebreaker, to say the least. But yeah, because my tiebreaker actually should have been pretty decent, because like, again, 3 of my opponents went 5-3, which is pretty good. But yeah, that was my experience playing TCG Pocket at the World Championships. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, especially the subscribe one, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.